Ladies and gentlemen, get ready to embark on a journey like no other. Welcome to the Glum Lot Podcast,
your go-to destination for a unique blend of recovery and discovery.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Mark. And in this podcast, we will endeavor to create a safe and uplifting space for our guests and listeners to share their stories with sincerity and a touch of humor.
Remember, we are not a Glum Lot. The Glum Lot Podcast is more than just a source of entertainment. It's a beacon of hope, proving that even in the darkest moments, recovery is possible. Every story we share carries the power to inspire positive change.
So buckle up, get ready to listen, and join us in discovering the strength that lies within every individual's journey. This is the Glum Lot Podcast, where humor meets hope. Okay, Brad, we are on episode number 22 of the Glum Lot Podcast. And you know what?
What?
We just had our first download in Australia.
No way.
Good day for the Glum Lot Podcast, yeah?
Is that accurate?
Yeah. What? My imitation of an Australian person?
I'm just trying to think.
No.
That sounded, okay. It was a little British.
I think it was Cockney. I just like saying Cockney.
Man, I'll tell you.
I got something to say, though. If you are in a country other than the U.S. and you're listening to the Glum Lot Podcast, please email us.
Please.
And let us know how this goes over in your country.
Maybe we'll even send you a sticker.
Oh, boy. You can email us at the glumlotpodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from our foreign friends.
Yeah, we definitely would.
We? Yeah.
And, you know, maybe if we hit it off, maybe it's a potential guest opportunity. I'm not sure.
Yes.
Just to spread our wings a little bit.
Indeed. That would be fantastic.
But you're going to have to go through our process to be able to see if you're... Anyways, no, you're probably...
And you got to speak English because neither of us are bilingual.
Not even close, right.
Bilingual.
Right.
We're not bilingual.
Right.
Okay. You're up, sir. What's on your mind?
Oh, I don't know. What's the one thing we say about the people in the rooms? The majority of them are probably pretty
bright?
Yeah, pretty bright, right?
Yeah. We're not you know what? We're not a glum lot, and we're not a dumb lot.
We are definitely not a dumb lot.
No.
But even with our intelligence, and I'm going to send another slogan out there.
Go ahead.
Even with all of our intelligence and, we certainly love to pole vault over fly shit.
Yes, we classically overanalyze.
Oh.
I mean, speaking for myself, that's why I think they say don't think, don't drink, go to meetings. In other words, don't overanalyze everything.
Oh, I'm a mess.
In this program. Just don't drink and go to the meetings.
Yeah, the littlest of things can set me right on a spiral.
I can think my way out of anything good.
I can think myself into anything at all. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. I'll think it, and make it true in my head.
Yes. And, so it's like you say, that the same mind that is of sharp intellect can really work against you.
Well, right, especially when you have a program, a simple program for complicated people, right?
Right, yep.
Yeah,
we can
just
complicate
had a hell of a
anything.
time grasping onto it.
Yep. And that's why people say, just get out of the way.
Yeah.
Get out of the way. Don't think, don't drink, go to meetings, and just let the process happen.
Yeah.
It takes work and effort, but you can't stand in the way of it all by trying to figure out what's wrong with it.
Analyze everything.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how can I make this different? Not better, just different.
Oh, right.
Because I'm different than everybody else.
Well, it's just like when I go and do a recipe.
Yeah.
Even that I have to overthink and try and make better.
Alcoholics are real freelancers, aren't we? We will freelance everything.
Oh, geez.
Let me just freelance this
We can always make it better, and gee whiz, I'll tell you.
So, anyways, the moral of the story is this program's almost 100 years old.
Right.
And people kind of know what they're doing.
Yeah.
At this point. So,
Yep.
That's good stuff. So we have a guest today that I don't really know that well, and I don't know her story at all, which I always like that because I always like to get surprised.
Yeah, this is a person that's very important in my life, especially through early sobriety, and I'm sure we'll be talking about that a little bit. But, came in around the same time as I did and was very influential, especially when I was pole vaulting over fly shit. She's got this innate ability to just... make me get it to the simple terms. And
cuts to the chase.
I think very highly of this person. So I'm actually going to introduce Meg.
Meg!
Welcome.
Welcome to the podcast, Megan.
Thank you.
And
Thank
we
you.
want to start with your sobriety date.
11/20/21.
Okay. And you usually like to start at the beginning. So do you remember your first encounter with alcohol?
So I remember, yes. I remember my mom having what are the wine?
Is it wine or wine coolers?
The wine coolers
like
in
Bartles
the
and
fridge.
James?
They were really popular for a while.
Yes, and they were in the fridge, and one was open already, and I didn't know why it was open and like a sip was gone. So every now and again, I would just take a sip to see if I would get in trouble. And it didn't taste terrible. It wasn't great.
Several kid-friendly flavors.
Yes.
Oh, God, yes.
It was pink. It was like lemonade, but it wasn't.
You know what's funny is guest after guest,
Yes.
their first encounter always has an element of sneakiness.
Yeah, it was like
It's part of the allure, isn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't about the taste or getting a feeling. It was just, I wonder if I'll get yelled at. Let me just.
Wow, dude, that is seriously a thing that's coming up.
It is.
A recurring pattern.
Yeah, it really is. We are some
Devious little
yeah.
seeking something.
So you were sipping off the wine cooler.
Yep.
Did you
So
ever
it was
sip
just
enough to get any?
no, because it was the same wine cooler, and I didn't know why it never got drank or why it never came out.
Yeah.
So it was just like the littlest like taste on your lip, and then I'd put the top back on and put it back in the corner,
Yeah.
like where it came from. So it was just tasting, and then it's like, oh, it's getting a little too low. I'm going to get in trouble, and then that was
Now,
it.
did you ever add water to it?
I don't
Be
think
honest.
so. I
Okay.
don't think so. I don't think so. No, I didn't know. I was little. I feel like I was little.
Like
How
a little,
old?
little?
I feel like I had to be maybe 12, maybe
Oh,
13.
okay. That's nothing.
Nothing.
Oh.
Some of our guests are 5 years old and swinging down BV.
No. No, I feel like 12 maybe.
Okay.
But like real drinking, I was 15.
Like, what was your first feeling? Like, the first time you actually felt an effect, what was that like?
It was not good. I didn't know any better, and it was my boyfriend in high school, and it was his dad's Black Velvet.
Again with the BV. Yep.
BV seems to be a gateway booze for kids.
It was awful. I was so sick, and
Oh, really?
Oh,
yeah, and I
God.
was a good student, so I never missed school. So when I was really sick the next morning, I said, I don't feel good today. I threw up, and it was just, you're just sick because
Right.
you're a good student. You always go to school. So,
But you didn't go to school that day.
I did not go to school that
Oh,
day.
it's already having its deleterious effects on your life.
Deleterious?
Deleterious, I think. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong.
you know
Believe
it.
me. You know the guy that does the chalk talks? I know now it's Father Martin. I couldn't
Yeah,
remember his name. I said, Father, I can't remember his name. After that podcast was dropped, 8 people text me, came up to me, Father Martin. So,
And they told me
Yeah.
that they couldn't wait to tell you.
it's Father
Yeah,
Martin,
craziness.
idiot. Well, I'm
Yeah,
never
anyways.
going to forget that again.
Mark, but we digress.
But we digress. That was not a good experience.
No, it was not.
And yet,
I wanted to continue to fit in with the popular kids in school. So those kids like to drink, and we grew up in a small town, so there was not much around, but a lot of country roads and
just country roads and peer pressure.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you continued to dabble, right?
So I continued to dabble, not so much in liquor, beer, just mainly beer, things like that.
No
And,
weed?
I did also smoke weed, but again, it wasn't really my thing. But the boyfriend at the time, it was his thing, and I wanted to be a cool girlfriend, and so I did that as well.
That is such a tough age because you are influenced by so many things that your gut is telling you no, but you do it because you want to fit in. You know, that acceptance
Not
thing
only that,
is
but we
huge.
see the grown-ups around us, the older people doing
Yeah.
it. So we want to grow up too, right? And
Yep.
have that, feeling of,
So it does have, booze has that social
yes.
inclusiveness to it. And so you're in high school and you're just dabbling, and what happens?
So a big strain. My mom was a single mom, so it was a big strain on our relationship. She worked a lot, and she wanted things a certain way. not so much like doing things at home, but like go to school, get good grades, come home, be with your sister. And I would not come home. I would go and do things after school, and it was not studying. I was going with the kids after school, whether it was swimming in the lake or something. I was just not where I said that I was going to be. I'm staying after school to study. Can you pick me up? Why are your clothes all wet? Well, that's because I wasn't at school studying. I was doing the things I wasn't supposed to. So a lot of lying. Just came with a lot of lying.
And so was alcohol a part of this whole thing?
It was. I didn't drink daily. I didn't skip school to drink. I would on the weekends. We would have drinks on the weekends if there was parties going on.
That's pretty typical high school.
Yeah, I didn't.
Stuff, right?
I didn't feel that it was bad, but if I think back on it, I did a lot of things that I wouldn't want my child to do.
Mm-hmm. So, at some point, does it progress? Your drinking?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
College. So I also went to college, and if my mom did not call me in the morning and she was at work, if she did not call me to wake me up, I missed class. I got a job in the restaurant industry, and those people like to drink. And so after work, everybody would be having drinks. I wasn't even old enough, but it didn't matter because they all had a drink, and then you have a drink and you're cleaning up. So then I was in school, and there were people that would drink during the day that I had never done before.
In college?
In college.
Yeah.
And I was taking a really hard class, and they were in my class, and they're like, oh, we're not going to go today. We're gonna go to my house, and my dad's got a kegerator. And I'm like, what is that?
Yeah,
so,
refrigerator with a keg built in? Built-in tap?
Oh, yeah.
Right in the house. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, beer was still gross, but I wanted to fit in, and I am in a new town, and I needed friends.
And you feel like you have to get that little bit of bad girl just to fit in, right?
Yep, because...
Or you don't want them thinking you're goody two-shoes.
No, it wasn't cool.
No, that wasn't cool. So do you start to develop some kind of like for the feeling of the buzz?
I think that I liked being liked more than it was so much about the feeling. Like I didn't need to have, at that time, I didn't need to have a certain amount to get by for the day. Like I could have a couple. And it was just the beginning of my drinking, so they had already been drinking a lot. Yeah. So they could have a lot more than I could have because I could tell that I couldn't handle it, or they could tell that I couldn't handle it. And I was like, oh, we can't have this.
So did that not come naturally to you, though? You needed that to be able to fit in?
I felt not comfortable with myself, that it was helpful to have something else.
Liquid encouragement.
Yep. Even if I didn't want to do something, but they were doing it and I wanted to do it because they were doing it, it was helpful to get me to do that, even though I knew I didn't want to.
Right, it would lower your inhibitions. It would relax you. It would take away the thinking that this isn't a good idea. So, I mean, that's, that is the nature of it, right?
Yeah, and then it was, this isn't a good idea, but let's see the consequences. Like, I know I've been told what the consequences are. Let's see if they actually happen. Or maybe it'll be different with me and I won't have the same consequences somebody else have because, like I said, I was a good student. I was a good... I am.
Yes. Nice.
But, I did a lot of... It was helpful to do things that I wouldn't typically do.
So it is a progressive disease. We've been saying that, I think, every episode, and there's always a progression. Mm-hmm. Can you tell us your progression?
Yep. So that went from drinking when others wanted to drink, maybe on the weekends, a few times during the day, but until I dropped those classes and I didn't do that anymore. But it was on the weekends, after work, and then you got your own apartment and you got a roommate and they have a lot of friends in the area. And again, friends didn't always come naturally. I was kind of quiet.
Introverted?
Yeah, so I didn't know the word at that time, so... Mm-hmm. But I was, and so drinking gave me something to have in common with others that were very social and could go out and do things, and I would have never chose or thought to do those things. So a couple years into college, we were out. Somebody had a boat. We were out boating, drinking all day. Ended up at a bar. Again, I had a great underage ID. The bartender had said, why don't you stay at, and it was a girl, a female, but not one that I had known. Why don't you stay at my house tonight? Don't drive. And I'm like, no, I was starting a new job the next day. I have to go home. But it was a long drive home. I didn't even make it 2 blocks away, and I'm getting pulled over. And so that was my first DWI.
Right. And do you feel drunk at this time? Or do you feel like you're okay to drive?
No.
Oh, so you knew better, but you're like, you know what?
I have to get home. My clothes are at home. I don't know this person. What if I'm late? And again, I was always on time. I didn't miss things.
So you get busted. And do they do an evaluation on you for drug and alcohol behavior? And what was the results of the evaluation?
Like afterwards or at the time?
No, I know when you go to court, they want to know if you have a problem.
So again, we lie.
Yes,
we lie.
That's the first time I've ever drank.
No,
that never happens. The day just got away from me. Yeah, you lie and you don't want to do things, but it's your first one, so you kind of get away with it. But it's like you need to do outpatient classes.
Okay, was that a wake up call for you at all?
No.
Okay, so you're thinking, I don't have a problem with alcohol. I party just like everybody else. I just got caught.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So do you go to the outpatient?
Yep.
And what do you just fake your way through it?
Yep, I'm a good student.
Just fake it till you make it, right?
Yes.
And so you graduate?
Yes.
Okay. And you get on with your life?
We went to the bar.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let's celebrate.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's all over.
So that doesn't change the way you drink at all then?
It did not. And you being older, you think that maybe it would, but it just did not.
Right.
And I grew up in an alcoholic family. My father was an alcoholic who was in the rooms, and I always told myself, and it wasn't really talked about, even though I went to meetings when I was a child, but I would always say, I know he is, but I'm not going to be like that.
Right.
And they would say, Megan, you really need to watch yourself. I am. I know what I'm doing.
I got it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like that. I have it under control. And that just was not it. So
you go through your first spat of unluckiness, and as you see it, and you continue to drink.
Yep.
What happens next?
Then I get into more of the industry of serving the alcohol and drinking with serving the alcohol, and it was a whole different thing. So finished school, but that I didn't go. My job wasn't based on school. It was work and drink, and now I have friends or so-called friends, and that was just every day. It was fine.
So you got into the lifestyle of this.
Yep.
Yeah, I did the same thing I bartended in college, and we could drink while we were working. And,
Yep.
it was a beautiful thing at the time. I thought, boy, this is the life, and I got drunk every night.
Yes.
So was that your experience?
Yep. And then sometimes you didn't feel well, so you're like, oh, I got to cut back a little bit, or I can't do that as much. But that was it for a long time.
So are you a daily drinker at this point?
I drank when I worked. So if I worked 5 days, I drank 5 days. If somebody wanted to go out on a 6th day, then we would have drinks on the 6th day. But then it got to a point that the 5 days wasn't enough. But at nighttime, if I wasn't working, I would go to a specific bar because I felt like maybe I was going to miss something. And I didn't want to miss the stories. Like, if somebody did something stupid or if somebody did something.
Yeah, no, we hear this too. One of our guests said, the night I got my DWI, and we're talking about Mark D, drove off the bridge. He goes, I didn't even want to go out that night.
No.
He goes, but I felt like, because I've had the same thing in my life where I've gone out just because I felt like I had to go out.
Yep.
What am I going to do, sit here at home? What am I going to do, something constructive?
Yep.
No, I don't want to miss anything.
Yeah, so I lived by myself, and that was it. What am I going to sit here and watch TV? I'm like, no, I'm sure they're doing something fun down there. or I just don't want to miss something happening.
Okay. Were there more consequences?
Yes.
I had a feeling there would be. Nope, that's it. That's the end of my story.
That's
See ya.
That's all that happened to me.
Yeah, so drinking every day, and then I also got into other drugs besides marijuana. Wasn't really my thing. I would get tired, and it just so it wasn't that, but cocaine was a thing. And it took a lot of people had asked, and I've always said no because, again, I'm kind of introverted, and I didn't know what it would do to me, so I couldn't just take it from a stranger because I didn't want to die.
Right.
But a friend or a so-called friend, come try. And I'm like, well, what is it going to do? Like, how is it going to make me feel? How do you know how much I can have? Is this okay? And she's like, yeah, just this little bit. And so that started that. And then that really made me want to go out, and it really made me want to continue.
Right, it fueled you. And in the restaurant biz, boy, Coke was a big thing,
It was, and I was surprised after I did it, hearing certain words, I realized how many more people actually did it than I knew, because drinking was really my only thing. So yeah, everybody drinks, but I didn't realize how many other people actually did that.
Right. Then you hear the word bump, and you're like, I know what that means.
Yes. And before I was like,
funny?
they ran into them.
Yeah.
When I was in college, I worked at a very high class bar restaurant, and it was the chef was a Culinary Institute graduate, and he was half owner, and his brother ran the rest of the restaurant, and it was in a big old mansion. It was a pretty high end place. We did pretty well, but the owner had a system lined up. His office was upstairs, and he would buzz a buzzer, and then I would pick up this phone, and he would give me a drink order. And he had this giant mirror behind his desk upstairs in his office, and I'd take a tray of drinks up, knock on the door, and they'd open the door. There'd be like 10 people in his office. The mirror would be on his desk, and there'd be just grams of Coke and lines cut up. And I'd bring the drinks, and everybody would go, "Oh, Mark's here!" And I'd bring the drinks, and then they'd go, "Hey!" They'd hand me the rolled up dollar bill, whatever it was. I'd snort a couple lines and go back down. And this went on like all night, every night. It was crazy. And of course, at the time, I'm thinking, well, this is kind of cool. I fit right in. I'm not paying for it. But it wasn't good. It wasn't good. So you kind of fell into the same type of thing, huh?
Yep. And then I got in trouble one night with that.
How so?
I got there was a raid, it was kind of like a raid at the bar, and I was there. So that led to another arrest, which, ultimately those were things that just went away, but it was something else that I was in trouble for being there and doing whatever.
With cocaine?
Yep.
Yeah. So did it scare you?
I didn't have any on me.
Yeah.
So I was, in my mind, if I wasn't there that night, I would have been fine.
Yeah.
Somebody else got caught. You got us in trouble.
Did the whole process of getting arrested, and were you like, holy shit, this is nuts?
I wasn't. I'm not ashamed to say that, but I feel that I just became okay. I'm not okay with it, but maybe accustomed, but not accustomed.
Yeah, and plus you
part of the lifestyle.
It was circumstances.
Yeah, I felt that I didn't do anything wrong, and so it wasn't my fault that I got in trouble.
Yeah. Okay.
And then so we get past that. That stops. No more cocaine. It was a short span for me that even happened. Maybe a couple of years. So it wasn't like, I know a lot of people do it for a lot longer.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I had it for that long, but it was enough to get in trouble and not do that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But drinking was always my thing. So back to the drinking.
Yep.
And those consequences, the cocaine consequences, led to more outpatient. So it became...
can I just rewind for a second? So when you go to court for the cocaine thing, which is not really a possession charge for you, right?
No.
But they still said, we recommend that you go to this outpatient, and they've seen your records. They know you've already been. So when you go back, did they say, hey, you don't have a problem? So they always recommend outpatient before you finish court so that you can say that you're doing it when you go. Got it.
So I always did outpatient leading up to court.
Mm-hmm. So you had them figured out, though? This is what I need to tell them. So I got to, soft pedal this whole thing. It's not really my bag. I was just there working, blah,
Yes.
blah, blah. Walk away again.
Yes, and then that finishes, and then continue drinking because there's nothing after the consequence.
Right.
Like, it's over.
It was a short-term thing.
And it's finished,
Yeah.
and now we can go back to doing what we were doing.
And so you go back to the same job, same
Yep.
environment, everything, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. I never looked for another. Actually, that's not true. After the cocaine incident, this outpatient was a bit more intense. So I did not drink or drug for a whole year.
Oh, wow.
But I was not doing those charges lasted longer. But or the court lasted longer. So the outpatient was longer because it's before court. I did not drink or drug for a whole year, but I did not also do anything but outpatient. So it was just going by the seat of your pants.
Was that one-on-one or was there any group?
It was group.
It was group.
Are you close with your mother at this point? Does she know what's going on in your life?
She knew I was arrested. But we don't talk every day. We still don't talk every day. But we are close now. She lives further away, so it's a drive. It's not around the corner. She doesn't come.
What about your
15
father, who was in recovery?
My father, he was around, but did not. So my mom would read the paper, and her sisters would tell her things that were going on, but my dad did not. So it was things that they were far enough away from me that I didn't need to tell, and they didn't know. Or even if I said, they would try to say, nobody ever did the one-on-one. My family didn't do the one-on-one. Like, Megan, you really should stop doing this. Do you see where your path is leading? And maybe things would be different if they had, or they have the background knowledge that you can't make somebody do something until they're ready.
I was going to say, or maybe they would do that and they wouldn't change anyway. But, I know nobody could change. Nobody could tell me.
No, and that's why I think maybe my dad being in the program, my mom did Al-Anon when my dad was in. So maybe they had the knowledge that you can't really make somebody. But sometimes I wonder if they had hinted a little bit more if things had changed, but it didn't, and here we are.
Okay. And so you clear that second hurdle of charges, and what happens next?
Then some years later, I was in an argument with my significant other at home, and I'd already been drinking at home. So now at this time, it's probably 5 years later, and I don't go out every night anymore. I drink at home now.
Yeah.
So it's cheaper to stay home. I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I've got my
Not
home
as
life.
likely to get arrested.
Yeah.
Do you have children at this point?
Not yes, but not technically. But yes, there is a child in the home, but he's a little bit older. But I needed to leave the house. The argument was bad enough that I couldn't stay there, and I needed to leave. So I messaged a good friend. She met me out. She knew I was upset. We have drinks all night long. Now, mind you, I'd already been drinking prior, but we meet at a bar. I promised that I'm not going to drive, that I'm going to stay at a friend's house that night that lives around the corner. She says, "Do you swear?" I said, "Yes, I swear." But I didn't think when I got there, I didn't think the friend was home, and I never really knocked. Like, I'll just sleep in the car for a little bit. And I woke up, and I'm like, oh, let me go home. Well, I also like to drive faster than I should. Like, let me hurry up and get home. I'm really tired. And it's super early in the morning, so I get pulled over again. And this is my second DWI, like 3 houses from my house.
Ouch.
So then I get taken in again, and he comes and gets the car because it's super close, so they did not have to tow it. Get that second DWI, and again, now we're doing the whole rigmarole again. More outpatient. I thought I was going to get out of it again, but I did not. So it wasn't strict outpatient. It was just a little bit. So finish that, continue drinking.
So what happens with the second DWI charge? They just plead it down and would you get probation?
No, I didn't even get probation. I'm a good student.
Oh my God,
So,
this is killing you. This good student stuff is going to be your ruin.
It is. So I just do the outpatient. It was just few weeks. I don't think it was very long, maybe 8. And right back to the same thing. But after this one, my drinking had progressed a lot more. So I started drinking every day, but now I'm at home. And a couple years go by, and now I'm drinking all day. Before I would drink because I thought it was like liquid encouragement, like it would help me do things that I thought were fun to do, even though maybe a little nervous. Well, now we're a little past that, and now I'm drinking a lot to do things I don't want to do. Like if I didn't want to go to that person's house, I would have 3 shots before. I was buying a case of vodka at a time. I wasn't buying the single bottles because I was going through them too much. I can't have the people at the liquor store seeing me.
Right. Walking out with the case is so much fun.
No clue.
Put it on your shoulder. This is all for me.
Yeah, so it would be a case from one, and then if it was the little bit later in the week, maybe 5 days later, 6 days later, because that's how fast I was going through them, I would go to a different one.
Yeah, of course.
So I thought that they didn't know how much I was drinking because it was different places and you spaced out your time. So at this point, I'm drinking like straight vodka.
Now, do you feel at this point that you've got a problem?
Yes.
And it's unmanageable? Are you thinking, I'm managing this?
No. I was getting angry. I would go to work if I woke up and I didn't feel well. I was going to work angry. I wasn't being kind. I wasn't very friendly. I wanted to get through the day. I wanted to hurry up and get home. I just wanted to do my job and go. And then, so the drinking would start when I got home, and then it would go until I passed out.
Yep.
And then we go some months later, and then I start drinking during the day. And I don't get caught. Like, I don't get in trouble.
Are you still with the significant other at this point?
Yep.
Is he saying anything about this? Or does he not? Are you hiding it from him?
I hid the amount. Yeah. Like if we were doing something on a Saturday morning, I would have 4 shots before we left the house, and he wouldn't see me have them because the bottle that we would drink would be in the kitchen, and I had another one downstairs.
We're very sly.
Oh, my gosh. I'm sitting here reliving my story.
Yeah, it's almost like you're sipping wine coolers.
It is, yeah.
I had the sacrificial bottle there. It would only go down so slowly, but meanwhile in the garage, just like...
It's the same bottle, but it's just there. And then when we would go places, I would have to bring a water bottle, but it wouldn't be water. It would be like it used to be half water, half vodka. And then it became all vodka. And I could just sip on this, and other people thought that that's what I was drinking was water.
So you are in this really bad place, and you're starting to realize this is a really bad place. Is your life getting dark?
Yeah, and I couldn't get out. I never wanted to not be in this world. Like a lot of people have thoughts of suicide or wanting to hurt themselves.
Right.
I didn't have those thoughts. But mine where I'm in this hole and I can't get out and I don't know what to do. So I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing, which is drinking.
Right.
Where it really got to be at a point where I was at this another restaurant and I would drink the whole time I was there and I'd be serving the customers. But then I always hit a wall where I'm super friendly, and that's how I could be kind and get my tips and what you're supposed to do. But then later in the night, I'm like, it's time to go. Like,
I'm done.
I'm done. I can't smile anymore. My face hurts. The drinks aren't helping any longer. Like, so I had to get out of there. But in the meantime, my father was ill, and that's its own story. But I had drank enough during the time where he was with us and kind of with us until he wasn't. But at the beginning, I drank enough another night and got pulled over again. So that's my 3rd DWI.
Now, it sounds like you are in a space where you're very alone. No one really knows the extent of your hell. You're in the hell of drinking, the hell of not drinking. It's not really working for you anymore.
Having to hide. All the
You know,
exhausting
I mean,
shit.
we get to that point and it just becomes this thing where we're just like, at least for me, it was like, you know what? My disease is telling me, you know, just hang on. It'll get better. Remember when it was good. You know, you're going to be okay.
That's exactly how it was.
Yeah.
And so that third DWI, I at that point was just like, let's go. Let's just do the thing again. I'll blow in the thing. I'll do my sobriety test. I'll fail. And at one point during that, it was just, it felt like it was forever. And I said, can you just arrest me already? Like, can we just go along with this? Like, I know what's going to happen. I calmly put my hands behind my back. Like, I know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
So we get done with that. And then I needed to, my lawyer suggested somebody and said, this guy is going to help you. You need to not lie. And this was the beginning because I had this same lawyer on my second one. And I think something happened with his life that somebody was able to help him. So he didn't say anything to me on the second one, but this third one, he's like, well, look at what you're doing. And it's the first person that ever
That's
really
great.
said, look at what you're doing.
Yeah, and he knew.
Yeah.
From experience, it sounds like, right?
Very, very well could have been. And
Yeah.
he knew my significant other as well. So I think that was more of a somebody needs to say something to you because you're falling apart.
Yeah.
So he's like, this is somebody that can help you and you need to not lie.
How
And
how did you receive that?
I just took it. I said, I can't get a felony. I can't lose my job. I'll pay you whatever you need. I'll do whatever I need to do. I cannot go inpatient and I cannot lose my job.
Sounds like a turning point.
I'll pay you whatever. And he said, well, that's not how it's going to go, but go and see this person and see what they say. So this person told me, you need to go inpatient. I can't help you.
Wow.
You've had this many, you continue to do this. And my lawyer's like, well, what did you say? I said, you told me to not lie.
No, boy.
You told
He's
me
like,
to tell
oh,
the
hell
truth.
no.
You know what? Here's the weird thing, though, is you're like, holy shit, I did the wrong thing. But in reality, it was the right thing.
I didn't. I really, though, I didn't think that I did the wrong thing. I think that I had been doing the wrong thing for so long that I knew I needed to not do that anymore. So I told the truth. He said to do that inpatient, and then another, a group, a Syracuse, not sure what to call it, but I went to this program in Syracuse, and I said, if you tell me to do inpatient, I will do inpatient, but I will do whatever I have to do outpatient if you will give me a try. Like, if you will give me a shot to try outpatient, I promise I will do what I need to do. And they said, okay. So I had started outpatient and one-on-ones, and I did everything that I was told. I did everything asked of me.
Did you start going to meetings?
Yep. I told the truth. I went to meetings. I didn't lie about the meetings. There was a great group of people.
Did you become honest, open, and willing at that point?
Yep, I did, because something also a little bit before I started outpatient, because it takes some months before you go to court. I had gone on vacation, and we went overseas, and on the way back, and I drank the whole time I was there. So when I got my third DWI, I did not stop drinking. Because I didn't know how. I would look myself in the eye. I would get real close to the mirror, and I would say, you are not going to drink today. You are not going to have a shot. You're going to be fine. And then like 2 minutes, it wouldn't even be 2 minutes. I'd go downstairs and I have a shot.
You were defenseless.
And I'm like,
Yes.
I feel
crazy.
I have been there, and you have no defense.
no, and I'm like, okay, I feel better, because I would let me just detox. If I don't do it, I'm gonna be fine. And then I'd be like, no, I'm gonna be fine if I have one. So then we went on vacation to an all-inclusive resort where I would drink from the time I woke up to the time I went to bed, and it was great. I didn't always feel great. Like, I would sleep. You can only drink so much, and then I'd take a nap, and then I'd start right again, like it never left off. And the sun was so great. So on the way back, I just thought I needed more sunshine. And then I started thinking that I didn't really need my job, that I could find a job anywhere. And I didn't need the benefits that I was working towards. The time in I didn't need. And I could just move down south and I could start over, because what was I really losing here? Like, I had felt that I had lost everything. Like, I felt that I was losing respect at work, even though I don't actually think that I was, but I was just in a really, really awful headspace. And I thought if I could just start over somewhere else.
So it can't be the alcohol.
And we're looking
It's
for
gotta
the
be-
geographical solution.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So
Like-
what did you end up doing?
So I started outpatient, and I surrendered. I just did everything that was asked of me. I went to meetings. I got a home group. I found a great group of people that I could count on to meet me at those meetings, so I could be held accountable. And I was just open and honest. And
Did you take the first step though at this point? Did you say, you know what, my problem really is alcohol? I'm really powerless?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. The person that held the group that I was in and my one-on-ones is like a saving grace to me, because, like I said, I continued to drink after that third DWI, and I didn't know how to stop. Like, I kept saying to myself, I'm about to start outpatient. When is going to be my last day? Like, if they're going to drug test me, I need to pee clean, and when is going to be my last day? And I kept putting it off. And then one day, I think it was a Friday, might have been a Thursday, I got an email from this person. And in this email, it said, class starts this day, this time, see you there. And at the end of this email, please don't drink this weekend. And in my mind, I said, that's it. That's my thing. Do not drink this weekend. So what is considered like the weekend? So, but at least it was giving me more.
We are geniuses, aren't we? Well, now wait a minute.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's Friday. Like, that's going to be my last day, and I'm not going to drink on the weekend. And I didn't.
Just take it right up to midnight?
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I was like, okay, well, all right, this is going to be it. So starting that outpatient, that first day, everybody has to say why they're there. And I think she was a little surprised at how much I shared, because it was share your story, why are you here? And I just did not hold back, and everything just came flowing out. Like, I think I've been waiting
Yeah.
to tell everyone how much I had been drinking, because even my best friend, I mean, I've told a lot of people how she had no idea. She's like, I knew you were drinking, but I did not realize how much you were drinking. Because
So was it cathartic and healing to get that out?
I felt like it was.
Yeah.
I felt like that was a new start, a new beginning, and I wasn't judged for it. It wasn't, oh my God, I can't believe it. It was like, yep, we've been there too. And that's the one thing that they say about people in Alcoholics Anonymous, that you're not the only one that's done it.
Right.
There are so many other people that have been there.
We are not unique.
We are not unique. We are more similar than you think. And it was just an amazing feeling to be surrounded by people that understood.
Mm-hmm. And if you are honest, truly honest, open, and willing, you got a shot.
Yes.
But until then,
Yep.
you don't have a shot.
No.
You can't half measure it. So that was the start of your sobriety?
That was the start. Yep.
Have you drank since then?
No.
That's amazing.
No.
And it's been a while, right?
Yeah. We're coming up on 2.5 years.
Nice. And you continue to go to meetings?
I continue to go to meetings. I continue to do what's asked. I handed out chips the other day.
Nice.
And they were surprised. And they're like, oh, you're great at this. And I'm like, I know what that means.
You
I know what that means. You're great.
It's
You get
just
to
a small commitment.
You get to keep doing it.
Have you worked with others?
I do not have anybody under me, but I'm a really good friend.
Mm-hmm. That's huge.
So
that's all the difference in the world.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a scared thing for me right now, that I don't want to let anybody down. So I just like to say I'm a really good friend. So if you need me, you call me. I'll be there. I'll help you. I'll meet you at meetings. I'll go out with you after.
That's the way the program works, You've gone through the steps?
I have gone through the steps, yep.
Nice.
Yep. My sponsor is really great like that. and she likes to do it as groups a little bit. That's how she went through them. And I've just met a lot of great women. And it's just a different group of friends that you can be honest with. There's still a few people in my life that don't know my entire story. Mm-hmm. So having AA and not having to lie about anything, like you can just say it and nothing is held against you. It's just comforting.
What a lot of people on the outside don't understand is that there is so much more to recovery in AA than not drinking.
Yes.
There really is. I mean, it is step one, but then there's the rest of the steps. Then there's the fellowship. Then there's the things you're talking about, trying to live a serene life by practicing the principles.
Yep.
That's the whole other side of this that a lot of people don't see. Well, you put the drink down, you don't really need to go to those meetings anymore, do you? It's like, no, now is when I really do need to go.
Yeah. And it is for the new people coming in to see that, because that was how it was for me. If everybody that I had met had been there for a long time, I don't know if I would have stayed. But because I had found a group that had also just began going, it was a lot easier to go in and to know that
people that were still learning.
Your peer group,
Yeah.
What?
All right. Well, we'd like to thank you so much for coming in and telling us, part of your story and sharing your experience, strength, and hope with us, Megan. And until next time on the Glum Lot Podcast, I'm Mark.
I'm Brett.
And I'm Megan.
As we wrap up another episode of the Glum Lot Podcast, we want to extend our heartfelt gratitude to each and every one of you who tuned in today. Navigating the path to recovery from alcohol and other substances is a journey filled with challenges, triumphs, and self-discovery. Remember, we're not affiliated with Alcoholics Anonymous, but we're here to provide a safe space for open conversations about the complexities of recovery. Your stories, courage, and resilience inspire us and our listeners alike. If you or someone you know is on the transformative journey, know that you're not alone. Join us next time as we continue to explore the diverse facets of recovery. Until then, stay strong, stay connected, and remember that each day is a step towards a brighter, sober tomorrow. Thank you for being part of the Glum Lot community.